Hello everyone, got 4 dirty jokes for you today. So sitting on the edge of the highway waiting to catch speeders, a state police officer saw a car driving along at 22 miles per hour. He thinks to himself, that car is just as dangerous as a speeder. So, he turns his lights on and pulls the car over. Approaching the car, he notices there are 5 old ladies, 2 in the front and 3 in the back, wide-eyed and looking like ghosts. The driver, obviously confused, said, "Officer, I don't understand. I wasn't going over the speed limit." "What did you pull me over for?" "Ma'am," the officer said, "you should know that driving slower than the speed limit can also be dangerous." "Slower than the speed limit?" "No, sir." "I was doing exactly 22 miles an hour, the old woman said proudly. The officer, trying not to laugh, explains that 22 is the route number, not the speed limit. A little embarrassed, the woman smiled and thanked the officer for pointing out her error. "Before I go, ma'am, I have to ask, is everyone okay? These women seem badly shaken and haven't said a word since I pulled you over." "Oh, they'll be all right in a minute, officer. We just got off Route 142. So a Serb, a Croat, and a Bosniak are arrested in Iran for drinking alcohol. The court sentences them to 10 whiplashes each, but everyone is allowed to make a special request beforehand. First up is the Serb. "I request a pillow strapped on my back," he says. After 2 lashes, it rips apart and his back gets completely torn open. Second up is the Croat. "I request 2 pillows strapped on my back," he says. After 4 lashes, it rips apart and his back gets completely torn open. Third up is the Bosniak. The judge says since you are a fellow Muslim, you can make 2 requests. "My first request is for 100 lashes." The Bosniak shouts. Bewildered, the judge asks, "And your second request?" "Strap the Serb on my back." So a husband notices his wife's hearing is deteriorating and decides to visit her doctor for advice. "I can't speak to my wife directly as she might find it offensive, given our old age," he says to the doc. "There's a simple trick you can try to determine her hearing," explains the doctor. "Simply ask her a question at a distance, and if she doesn't hear you, move slightly closer and ask again until she does." That night, the husband arrives home and sees his wife in the kitchen cooking. He thinks to himself, what a perfect opportunity to test her hearing. He stands in the doorway of the kitchen and promptly asks, "What's for dinner, honey?" No answer. He moves closer. "What's for dinner, honey?" Still no answer. He moves even closer. "What's for dinner, honey?" Still his wife doesn't answer. He now sees how serious her hearing problem is. At this point, he is standing right next to his wife. "What's for dinner, honey?" His wife looked at him angry and replied, "For the 4th damn time, we're having chicken." So 2 men die and go to heaven. St. Peter meets them at the pearly gates. "Gentlemen," he says, "I'm very sorry, but your condos aren't ready yet, so I can send you back to Earth for a few days in whatever form you wish." Well, the first man says, "I always thought I'd like to be an eagle soaring majestically over the Grand Canyon." "And I'd like to be a real cool stud," the second man says. Done. St. Peter nods and they vanish. A few days later, the Archangel Michael walks up to St. Peter. "Hey, Pete, I need to send an angel to get those 2 guys who got affected by the construction delay." "Where'd you put them?" The first one should be easy to find. He's an eagle soaring majestically over the Grand Canyon, St. Peter answers. The second one will be a little tougher. He's somewhere in Siberia on a snow tire.